Good morning, fathers of daughters. This is Ephraim B. Martin. I am 58 years of age, and I am a girl dad of four adult daughters. Welcome to another live stream. Welcome to the beautiful state of Colorado. And I welcome all dads from all ethnic groups, from all walks of life. Thank you for being with me here today. It's Sunday morning, October the 15th. And we are getting into the fall here in Colorado. Weather's still beautiful though. All right, dads, I hope that you had a very beautiful week with your children, with your daughters. And I pray that all is well, your health, your strength, and all those good blessings that God continues to send your way. Fathers, it's another live stream today. And what I would like to discuss with you today is girl dads. We must take a holistic approach with our daughters. Now, when we talk about a holistic approach with our daughters, what am I speaking about, fathers? What I'm talking about, fathers, taking a holistic approach with our daughters is body, mind, spirit, and soul. Okay? And my experience has taught me raising four daughters. Having those four components will make our daughters much more complete as they get older, from little girls to growing up into preteens to becoming adult women. Body, mind, spirit, and soul, the connection. I just believe as adults, if we have those four connected, we're just much better human beings overall. So, fathers, I just kind of want to, not kind of, I want to go over exactly what that may look like for us. Having a body, mind, soul, spirit, and soul connection with our daughters, okay? When we think about our daughters and we think about the body, right? There's a lot that we can do to ensure that our daughters' bodies are taken care of. Some of the things that I believe that we definitely need to be in tune to their bodies is their development, the different stages of development that our daughters are going to be going through, fathers. And, we need to really pay attention to their body, the growth of their bodies and how their bodies are developing. Let me give you an example. For instance, when we're talking about the body incorporates so much. We have five senses that our daughters are going to be using throughout their whole lives. And those five senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Those are all very, very important elements of the body that all humans use. When it comes to our daughters, and we're talking about their body, and we talk about the five senses, we also want to include their nutritional needs. And fathers, we get to be directly involved in making sure that their nutritional needs are being met on the daily basis, right? I made sure with my daughters, I did a lot of cooking when my daughters were little. I used to grill the majority of my daughters' food. When my daughters were in the primary grades, I packed my daughters' lunches for them from kindergarten all the way up to high school, actually. I stopped packing my daughters' lunches once they got to high school in ninth grade. And one of the reasons that I made my daughters' lunches every day was because I wanted to make sure, I had to ensure that their basic groups of food were being met. dairy, meat, vegetables, and fruits. So the only way that I knew that that was going to get done is if I packed their lunches for them. I wanted to make sure that their nutritional needs as little girls, as preteens, was being met. I'm a former dean of students and teacher, and let me explain something to you, fathers. When our daughters get to middle school and high school, it's amazing what some of these middle school and high school kids are eating in junk food, because most middle schools and most high schools have vending machines. And chances are, if your daughters have money, they're going to be eating a bunch of potato chips and, just a lot of junk stuff out of those vending machines, because most of them are not nutritional. They don't sell milk in there. They don't sell vegetables in there. No fruit. It's just all junk, chips, candy, cookies, those type of things, because every school gets a kickback from having vending machines in there. So when we think about our daughters' bodies and their nutritional value, we get to direct that, fathers, and we get to be a part of that success, right? And like I said, I packed all my daughters' lunches every day. I made their lunches every morning for them, and they ate very, very well. Like I said, I used to grill all their food for them. My daughter, I had my third daughter, Zuri. She was a picky eater. She didn't start eating meat until she got into the 6th grade. She just didn't like meat as a little girl. She never liked the texture of meat, so she just didn't eat meat. Wasn't a problem, because as their bodies are growing, as long as they're eating, my daughter Zuri ate a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits. She did eat fish, but she just didn't like the textures of meat. So not a problem at all. She loved peanut butter and she loved jelly. So I always made sure that I had her eating peanut butter and jelly, and just making sure when my daughters had their yearly appointments with their pediatrician that their nutritional needs were being met, which they were. So that was never an issue. And that's another thing with our daughters' bodies. We have to be aware of the changes in their bodies. Fathers, our daughters can have their first menstrual cycle at the age of 8. At the age of 8, it's called menarche, and they could have their menstrual cycle as early as 8 years old. So I made sure that I attended all of my daughters' pediatrician appointments when they were little girls until they got older, and they felt comfortable enough when they no longer needed their father there with them in the room to meet with their pediatrician. And I want to say all my daughters, I went to all their pediatrician doctor appointments, yearly, annual physicals with them until they were all about maybe 11. And then once they turned 12, they felt comfortable enough. They're like, Dad, I no longer need you in here with me. I'll meet with my pediatrician one-on-one, which was great. I never felt uncomfortable having my daughters, meet with their pediatrician, because it is their privacy. I felt honored being able to be a part of their first 11 years of all their appointments with their pediatrician, right? So fathers, when it comes to the body of our daughters, going through puberty, when they're very painful for a lot of little girls, and it's going to be painful for most of our daughters when their breasts develop. So we just want to be mindful, and we want to be aware of the changes in their development of their bodies. One of the things I made sure when each one of my daughters got to 4th grade, I always had them carry an emergency pack with them of their personal hygiene, to make sure, they always had wipes. Back in the day, we used to use Desitin, for babies. And I always made sure my daughters had Q-tips, Vaseline. They always had Desitin. They always had wipes. They always had, alcohol. It was an emergency kit for them, just in case they're female products that they needed, just in case they did start their menstrual cycle and they were at school. It wouldn't be embarrassing for them. So their bodies, fathers, we just really need to pay attention to, be a part of that, have those discussions with our daughters, and making them feel comfortable enough to be able to come to us when their bodies are developing and they're going through puberty. Because most fathers, I can tell you, they're not going to do it. They don't feel comfortable doing it, which is crazy to me. As a man, I would rather be a part of that success, having those discussions. So it's familiar with our daughters. So as they get older, they don't feel unfamiliar with their fathers and their bodies, and not feeling comfortable enough with their bodies. Everything was on the table with my daughters. There wasn't a single subject I did not discuss with them, specifically when it came to their bodies. I started discussing what was appropriate and what's inappropriate with my daughters when they were 5 years of age. So I was always comfortable having those body discussions with my daughters. And even today, as adult women, they thank me for it. And they're very grateful that I had the foresight to be able to have those discussions with them, and not being awkward about it, and not feeling like they always had to go to their mother. Of course, they went to their mother for many things, but they also came to their father because I made it available to them, and them growing up, it wasn't unfamiliar. So fathers, we have a unique opportunity when it comes to their bodies and understanding how our little girls' bodies work and how a woman's body works. And just to be a part of that, I think is very, very important for their overall development and trusting and, feeling validated from their fathers. So we talked about body. Now let's talk about the mind. The mind of our daughters is going to be very, very critical because, we're dealing with self-esteem, we're dealing with their feelings, we're dealing with, mental health. We're dealing with a lot when it comes to their mind. And we really need to be paying attention, fathers, because every little girl is going to have emotional highs and emotional lows when it comes to their mind. And when their bodies start changing, they're really going to have a lot of different things going on in their mind. They're going to be questioning a lot of things about their body, not feeling good about their bodies. Most middle school little girls, because of their hormonal changes, they have serious highs and they have serious lows. And we just need to be mindful of that, fathers. And we just need to be aware, and we need to pay attention to their mood swings and their mood changes, and, just making sure that our daughters are okay, and validating their feelings, and just making sure they're okay, because they're going to be going through, particularly when they go through puberty, their bodies and their minds. They're going to be feeling their bodies is playing tricks on them. So their mind is going to be wondering, and they're definitely going to isolate us, fathers. And I've mentioned that in several videos of the isolation that's going to be taking place with us, because they're going through emotionally. So don't take it personal, fathers, but we just need to be mindful, pay attention, and, have those discussions with your daughters. Because I think the earlier that you start, like I said, I started with all my daughters at 5, having discussions about their bodies. So by the time they were, 10, 11, 12, it wasn't an issue because they were so familiar with their father and everything was on the table, like I said. But the mind is definitely going to be playing tricks on our daughters. And they're not always going to feel good about themselves. They're just not. They're little girls. It's part of their DNA. That's just what it is, dads. So we just have to make sure that we're always available for them. And we want to make sure that we do a lot more listening than we do talking because they're going to be snappy. Let me tell you, they're going to be snappy. They're going to be irritable. They're not going to want to be touched. They're going to want to be heard and listened to. So it's going to take us fathers just to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to make sure that our daughters are validated, okay? It may seem a bit exhaustive at times, and we may feel, you know, a certain way as their dads because a lot of times there's just not much we could do when they're having their emotional highs and emotional lows, right? Um, a lot of fathers feel like they're failures, and you're not. It's just a stage of their development that they're going through, and to be a part of it is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, fathers. So I encourage you just to make sure that you're listening and you're paying attention and being consistent. That's the most important thing, fathers. They're going to need our ears. They're going to need our shoulders. They're going to cry. They're going to be emotional. They may need hugs. They may need kisses. So that's what we do, dads. We get to nurture that. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And when they're going through it, it may not be comfortable for a lot of fathers, but that's what it is. They're little girls, okay? So embrace them always. Love them unconditionally with everything that you got. And you're going to be fine, okay? So body, mind, and the spirit and soul, they're one and the same, the spirit and soul, right? And when I think about the spirit and I think about the soul, I always think about their spirituality and their spiritual growth. Religion is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Knowing who God is a good thing, right? We are living in a world today where there's just an attack on religion, and I'm not a religious human being. I'm a spiritual human being. I was raised in the church. I was raised in the Pentecostal church, the PAW. So I know what I know. And I raised my daughters. Their mother was a Catholic and I was Pentecostal. So they got the best of both worlds. But I did not make my daughters go to church every Sunday like I had to when I was a child. They got introduced to God. They got introduced to spirituality. And they're better human beings because of it, right? Um, Spirituality is a beautiful thing because your spiritual growth gives you something outside of yourself as a human being. Whatever God, whoever you believe in, that's fine. But being introduced to God is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And like I said, we live in a world where there's just anti-Bible, anti-Quran, anti-God. And it's sad to see because I know as a former state juvenile probation officer and working in K-12 education, I just met so many kids that were disconnected spiritually. and they just didn't feel like they had a soul. And I just believe to be a complete human being, we have to have the body, mind, spirit, and soul. We do, because it's important, right? And fathers, we have a unique opportunity to shape that for our daughters, introduce them. One of the things when I was a Marine, when I went overseas, I traveled like 30 countries in a year in 1987 when I was in the United States Marine Corps. And one of the things I had, um, which was amazing, is when I went to all these other countries on the different continents, the different religious perspectives, the different religious worships. It was amazing. I had an amazing spiritual connection when I was in Indonesia, in Jakarta. I I was blessed, and I was able to hang out with the monks for about 3 days. And the monks are so deep spiritually. Here I am from the West. I'm raised in a Pentecostal church, didn't know anything different. And then I get overseas and I'm being introduced to all these different religions, you know, and just meeting spiritual people that are just so entrenched in their spirituality. It was amazing. But the monks was hanging out with the monks and being with the monks, that was an experience that changed my life. And I remember they said something to me when I met them. They said, Ephraim, we just want you better than how you came to us. Simple things. And just watching them spiritually and just seeing how they moved within their religion, it really rocked my world, and it changed so much in my life as far as spiritually. So I was very grateful for being able to travel the world. I've been to 60 countries and 6 continents throughout my life. I'm an avid traveler. I love to travel the world. And, being able to leave the continent of North America, the United States, and, you know, being able to go to other continents. The only continent I haven't been to is Antarctica, South Pole. I'm gonna get there one day. But just seeing how the body, mind, the spirit, and soul are connected, it's left in an incredible um, perspective in my life. It's left an incredible experience in my life. So I was able to share so much with my daughters when they were little girls, and rearing them and raising them to appreciate all of humanity. Because there's there's over 4,200 different religions in the world. So you're never going to be able to study all of them, but you can embrace them all and appreciate them all. And I did that. I've always had the mind to learn. You know, if you could teach me something, I'm in. I love learning from other human beings that don't look like me or talk like me. So traveling the world, that's how I learned. And I took all those experiences and, was able to share them with my daughters and raise my daughters. My daughters are all avid travelers, you know, around the world as well. They love to travel. And I'm glad that they got that from me, because I've always wanted them, because I introduced them to traveling. When they were little girls, we would travel to, California, Washington, D.C., New York, Florida, just different states in the United States. I got them used to traveling, and, as they got older, it took off for them. So I feel good that I was a part of them introducing them to the world of travel. And I'm very happy that they've continued to travel the world and experience different human beings that don't look like them and talk like them and embrace every culture, because there's good in all of humanity. There's good in every culture. Every country I've been to, I've met incredible human beings, and the cultures are amazing. So there's good cultures throughout the world. There's good in every culture. You know, don't believe the hype of what you see on the news, which is mostly nonsense. You know, if you never leave the borders of the United States, how are you going to properly educate your mind to be objective, right? It's going to take that. The United States is not the end all be all. It's not. And I've been in countries, and you know, I've raised my daughters to be able to go to these different countries and just embrace the cultures, embrace the foods, embrace everything that they can teach you. So, fathers, the body, mind, spirit, and soul connection is pivotal, I believe, in ensuring that our daughters will grow up to become complete women. My adult daughters are complete in my eyes. I did an amazing job with my adult daughters, and I feel grateful that God gave me the gift of girls. You know, I've already said in a couple videos, several videos actually, they've made me a better man. They made me a better father. They made me a better human being. And when you have daughters, they make you look through a totally different lens as a father. You know, you do become softer as a man, and it's okay. That's what our daughters do. They bring that sensitivity to us, and you know, they make us look at things that we normally wouldn't look at if we had sons. If we were just around testosterone all the time. Estrogen is not a bad thing. Being around, you can learn a lot, you know, from being around women, from being around little girls, and I have. So, fathers, I just want to encourage you to always put your best foot forward when it comes to our daughters, because we definitely do have their best interest. Fathers, we have an incredible opportunity on this journey that we are on with our daughters from birth to 18 years of age. And we should just take full advantage of it, because 2 decades may seem like a long time, but it goes by very, very fast, fathers. And before you know it, they're born, and then they're out of the house at 18, going to college and whatever they're going to do, right? But we have them for the first 18 years of age. We have them under our wing, under our direction, under our leadership. So we have the opportunity to make sure they're connected with their body, mind, spirit, and soul. We get to show them what it looks like. They get to feel it and experience it. And they're always going to look to us for their leadership and their protection and their safety. So fathers, we should feel great about that. Not good, we should feel great about that. Because we're in charge of these beautiful little humans that we get to watch change before our eyes, grow before our eyes, speak before our eyes, and become amazing women before our eyes. So, you know, we have an opportunity to do amazing things with our daughters. Amazing things with our daughters. So let's go for it, right? Let's jump in. Let's do what we do as fathers. And let's handle our business with our daughters. So fathers, That's what I mean, girl dads. We must take a holistic approach with our daughters. We must. That's going to help them become complete as young adult women, little girls, and adult women. Our guidance, our leadership, our consistency is so important in their lives. They're going to remember it all their lives. I promise you, fathers, they will. And then when they become adult women like my daughters are now, we get to fall back and enjoy the fruits of our labor. If I had to do it all over again, fathers, I would do it the exact same way because I believe in me. I'll always put money on me. I got a lot of things right. I really, really got a lot of things right. So I feel great about it, fathers. So when we take a holistic approach with our daughters, father, we're not gonna we're not gonna go wrong. We're gonna do good things. It's gonna be great, right? Because we have a personal hand in their development, and we get to watch them change before our very eyes, grow before our very eyes, and become the adult women and awesome women that they're going to become. So, fathers, body, mind, spirit, and soul. That's the connection. And when they're all healthy, we have healthy children overall. All right, I'm going to end this live stream. I'd like to thank you, fathers, for being a part of it. And like I said, this is a new YouTube channel. I feel great. I really feel good. I'm glad that I'm able to share the information I'm sharing and be a part and just encourage fathers to do the best that they can. We're grow dads. We're learning as we go. But always remember, there's no right or wrong way. We just got to do it. Feel good about it. Okay, fathers, stay blessed. Have a good week. May God continue to bless you, your family, your children. Until next week's live stream, I'm out, fathers. Peace.